Welcome to the future of inspection-ready clinical operations. We are at a massive tipping point in this industry, and right now, TMF teams are drowning, spending up to 60% of the day on manual filing and fixing metadata errors. This isn't just a clerical problem, it is a bottleneck that keeps life-saving treatments from reaching the market. And so today we aren't just launching another tool, we're launching the Cloudbyz AI eTMF agent to take that burden off your shoulders forever. Now, before we dive in, here are quick housekeeping notes. This session is being recorded for your teams and a copy will be emailed to you by tomorrow. And all participants at the moment are muted, but please feel free to use the chat and Q&A tab to drop in your questions, comments, or if you're facing any technical difficulty. We want this to be a conversation, so please feel free to interact with us and our team will be here with you. And lastly, we definitely want you to have many takeaways from this session and have good fun while we are also enjoying this whole space here with you. Now, for those of you meeting us for the first time, we are one of the fastest growing providers of eClinical and AI solutions. Our platform is 100% cloud native, which offers a unique blend of scalability and modularity to suit your specific business needs. At Cloudbyz, we empower organizations of all sizes, right from Fortune 500 leaders to agile startups, to streamline trials and accelerate the delivery of life-saving therapies. Our comprehensive suite covers the entire clinical spectrum, including the CTMS, the CTFM, which is a financial management tool, the EDC, and safety and pharmacovigilance. We are proud to be ISO 9001 and 27001 certified, and we are fully compliant with all the global regulations, including FDA Part 21 CFR Part 11, GCP, and HIPAA. Our commitment to innovation has been recognized globally. Cloudbyz is featured in the Everest Group Peak Metrics as a major contender for both our CTMS and EDC products. Our headquarters are in Chicago and regional offices in Toronto and Bengaluru. This gives us a unique access to provide global support across all time zones. Now, for more information, you could always visit our website at cloudbyz.com or send us an email on info@cloudbyz.com. And joining me today, we first have Dinesh Kashyap, who's our founder and CEO. He brings the vision of autonomous clinical operations to life. Then we have Tanir Das, our life sciences solutions manager, who specializes in bridging the gap between complex trial requirements and technology. And then we have our senior AI product manager, Archit Pathak, who will be leading today's live demonstration of the AI agent. Now, without further ado, I'll now hand it over to Dinesh to welcome you all. Dinesh, over to you.
Thank you, Pooja. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar session as we introduce our AI eTMF agent. Since being in this industry for more than 10 years, our Cloudbyz mission has always been empower organizations to accelerate life-saving therapies. But as trials grow in complexity, we realize that traditional eTMF models, which rely entirely on human to upload, classify, and perform the QC, simply cannot scale anymore. So with that, the speed of your trial shouldn't be limited by the speed of a manual data entry, manual workflows, and breakdown in the process. So that is the why we built the Cloudbyz AI eTMF agent, an intelligent agent designed to keep your eTMF complete, compliant, and inspection ready every time. So with our eTMF agent, right, you should be able to automatically take the documents and intake and routing of the documents, and also eTMF agent does auto classification, it does metadata extraction and auto population of that. And it also detects PHI and PAI information, and it redacts as well. And it also helps you to accelerate your quality control as well, both automatic as well as the human in the loop process as well. The agent can also work independently, and it can also integrate with your existing eTMF systems, including any kind of a shared folder, any digital binders, box folders, and so on and so forth. and it can also integrate with your eTMF systems, which you currently use today. Now, this is one of the product which we are launching today, and this is an idea coming out of our Cloudbyz AI Innovation Lab, where we are focusing on bringing innovative ideas to life, especially focusing on the not only just in the eTMF area, across clinical operations. How can we bring agentic AI workflow automation throughout clinical operations end to end? So that's our objective. And with that objective, there are four areas where we are focused on innovating. One is the product innovation, where we're moving beyond just the software, and how can we bring the intelligent layer on top of the clinical operations and make it um, robust in terms of the speeding up the clinical operations, and also helping the acceleration of the trial process itself. And also, we also focused on a customer empowerment, giving you the tools to handle massive document volumes without linearly increasing your human effort. And we are also focused on industry advancement specific to setting a new standard for the clinical operations that is standardized, constant, and high quality as well. And also making sure that in your eTMF process and documentation are inspection ready at any point of time. And we are also focused on, the responsible AI as being in the regulated space. It's very extremely important to make sure that, the entire agent is regulatory compliant, ensuring that, we have proper audit trail in place. There is a proper, guardrails in place. There is a proper policies in place to make sure that, we bring in the governance into the AI as the AI becomes, part of the clinical workflow. So with that, we are also making sure that, all the, the SOPs which you follow, our agents are aligned with that, and also make it traceable as well. We just didn't build in the vacuum. We basically consulted with various experts in the industry, both customers and experts. And we built because we saw the huge hidden cost of the traditional approach, the rising compliance risk, and the burnout of the team, double checking every single file every day, and making sure that the documents are organized properly, and quality controlled properly, and making sure that it's inspection ready all the time as well. And today our team is going to walk you through in terms of the entire functionality and our point of view, and you'll also be able to see a live action of our agent today. And please feel free to ask any questions you may have. I would love to answer any questions you may have. With that, I would like to hand it over to Pooja.
Thank you so much, Dinesh. And with that, Thanir, I would like you to please take us through the need behind AI eTMF agent, and different use cases, please.
My name is Tuned Das. I work as a solutions manager at Cloudbyz, and I'm working out of India. So yeah, it's been quite some time since we have a product launch of this scale, and as you can imagine, the excitement is quite palpable. I would say full marks go to the awesome minds at work at the Cloudbyz Innovation Lab, who have been the architects behind this product. So kudos team. Now, firstly, I would like to thank the audience for their wholehearted participation in this product launch. Now, I know many of you are very eager for us to jump straight into the live demonstration of our AI ATMF agent, but I would request you to kindly keep your patience for just a while longer, since before we move to the actual demo, I would like to explain to you, as to why we did really select to build this product in the first place. Because the features that we have brought into this product is, as Dinesh mentioned, it's not just part of a secondary research that we did, but this is the actual outcome of very real conversations we had with clients and prospects like yourselves. We understood their challenges, the frustrations, and finally we baked them into the product backlog and brought them out as features as part of this product. So we'll start with two very common, scenarios that we have encountered, I guess the most number of times during the discussion with the TMF teams. And, and these two use cases effectively deal with, manual intake of documents and, metadata inconsistency. Now, it would not be entirely justified, I would say, if we are kind of calling them as different use cases, because I would say almost inevitably, as the scale of studies and the documentation increases, these two kind of scenarios and problems they creep in together. So, just think of this scenario, like, like you have a study which is up and running. It's a global study that's being, done across a number of sites in different countries. Things are moving very fast, timelines are tight, and the documents are, flowing in from your sites, vendors, as well as internal teams. But then, what about your TMF? Well, as of now, as you're studying with the study, it is still, trying to keep pace. But then you would still feel there is a bit of lag, right? Because every document that comes in will still need someone who would have to step in and decide where does this document belong to, what metadata needs to be entered, has this document gone through the right quality checks or not, and whether it is ultimately compliant with ALCO and GCP guidelines. Now, this might not look to be a problem at first because, it is, you would say, this is just part of the process, right? We do it for every document. But then it is till the point, the scale of the study increases and, it slowly becomes a problem and, the inefficiencies start creeping in. So right now, what you say is a few, documents that you're handling will, suddenly turn into hundreds, and hundreds will, make its way into thousands. And somewhere along this way, your filings will get delayed. The metadata will start losing its consistency. The quality checks, it will inherently, delay and postpone your quality checks. And slowly and steadily, your TMF will start falling behind. And all of this will become even more visible, will become even more apparent, I would say, when you are kind of preparing for an audit or an inspection. And suddenly, all of these delays, they would resurface, and your entire team, which was, managing, the study, will have to overnight pivot to chasing the TMF and its completeness. So, what do we do in this scenario? Okay, so this is exactly, what we are trying to resolve by the use of, an AI agent. Now, just suppose that, picture the scenario that, we have an AI agent, like, you had this entire, use case that we spoke of earlier, but then right at the onset, you had an AI agent that would ingest the documents the moment it arrives to you. And, based on the content within the document, it parses it, it understands the document, and, affixes this, this AI eTMF agent affixes the right metadata, creates the necessary fields, and at the same time places it exactly, where it should belong within the TMF reference model. No waiting and no guesswork. Because, if you really think about it, closely, the effort, I would not say no, there's no effort needed in creating the documents. There is a tremendous amount of clinical effort that goes into it. But then, from a TMF perspective, the effort that really goes into is figuring out where would you place them, and have you accurately placed them within the TMF reference model or not. And that is what actually slows things down here. Now, just to be clear, since we have, very recently introduced this topic of AI eTMF agent, we are, certainly not talking of, replacing humans out of the process and letting the AI agent do its work entirely by itself. What we are speaking of is just offloading the classification burden to the agent. And whenever, the eTMF manager, which is a human in this scenario, deems necessary, he or she will have the ability to step in at any point of time, review, correct, and validate the documents and the actions that has been taken by the CIE team of agent. And without divulging too many more details about this, I would let my colleague demonstrate this once he is going through it during his product walkthrough. Okay, so with this, we move to another critical use case, which also has been one of which has also been part of a lot of our TMF discovery meetings. And this is about unredacted PHI information creeping into TMF documents unnoticed. Apparently you would be receiving documents from a number of sources, right? Sites, lab vendors, etc. And if you're not able to kind of review everything, in close details, things might look just fine at the first glance, and you might upload it into eTMF in case you have not done a thorough inspection through human effort. But then once you are doing a routine check, which is say closer to an audit, you're doing a routine check of your TMF just to see the completeness and whether it's inspection ready or not. You might just so find that there's a patient name, there's an ID, or there are some other PHI details that should have been redacted before they were uploaded to your TMF. Now, at the first thought that might come to your mind, or would come to anybody's mind, is this the only issue that is there, or did I miss any more of this? And it is I would say quite right. It's a very valid thought, right? Because at that point, it is no longer about just that one human oversight, or just that, or just about the rework that needs to be done to get this corrected. It's much bigger than that, because apparently you are kind of facing a potential GCP process failure, or there might be a possible data privacy violation under HIPAA or GDPR as well. And even if we keep all these guidelines and regulatory compliances aside, the most important thing that we might have broken is the trust of our patients, because their information is kind of put in a document that should not have been done in the first place, that should have been redacted. Now, once this doubt is there in the team, what happens is, your cleanups team will have no choice but to go back and, open every document and read them line by line and cross check manually for the PHI data. As we might all quite rightly understand that this is not the most comfortable scenario to be in, right? And definitely not the best to use of your cleanups team's time as well. Hope I'm right in that. So, at Cloudbyz, we thought of a slightly more intelligent way of doing this, which I will talk of in my next slide. Okay, so, think about an AI agent again, that will parse the document at its intake, identify the PHI data, handle the detection and redaction proactively as part of the intake process itself, rather than doing it later, after, it has been already uploaded. Because if you really think about it, the issue in this particular scenario has not really been that the PHI was available, because PHI inherently will be part of clinical documents, right? But the problem was that it was found too late in the process, when only remediation was available. And again, like, I would just leave it to that. I would not want to go into too much of details, because I believe Archit might do a better job and justice to this particular feature when he goes through it during the product demonstrations. I'm just touching through the various features, just giving you a taste of what's in store for you over the next 30 minutes. So yep, I'll move to the next use case without giving away too many details as of now. Okay, so coming to the third. Okay, so now coming to the third use case, which is, and the last use case that we have for you for today is trusting whether this AI agent that we have been talking to you about all this while is really doing its work, confidently or not. And you would say, this is where, or might think that this is where it is getting a bit ironic as well, because we spoke of a lot of earlier problems today that we could just solve with AI, right? Including documents getting classified automatically, metadata being extracted and standardized, and PHI being handled and redacted right at the intake as well. But then now the question is not really about this agent's capability, but more so of about the confidence of the action, and how as humans we are governing that action that's being taken by this agent. So, effectively speaking, the conversation now shifts from, can an AI agent do this? Because, as you will see in the demonstration, we have proved that our AI agent is able to do all of the things that we have, claimed as part of the previous slides. But now the conversation is more about, can we trust it enough to let it do this without, ourselves manually redoing everything? And this is where I think in the TMF teams, in spite of, like, as a TMF manager, you might having a TMF agent, like, you might just take the Cloudbyz AI eTMF agent and sending it to your team, but it might just be so that your team is not really ready to kind of let go fully and trust the agent, which means that even after the AI agent has done its job, you might still be doing the manual rework. So effectively what happens is that, you spend top dollar on the AI investment, and still you manual work is continuing. Taking all of this into account and, picturing a scenario for you. So say, for example, you are receiving a batch of documents from your different sites during the study startup process. The AI agent has, kicked in immediately, and quite rightly so, and it classifies the documents into the right TMF folders, redacts any PHI, and extract and standardizes the metadata. Everything looks perfectly all right as per the capabilities of your AI TMF agent. But then as a TMF manager, you're not 100% certain, right? Not because the agent has failed, but because you do not have clear visibility into how confident that agent was while it was doing its job. Because of all the documents, and this might be in hundreds, right, that you have received, you cannot easily tell which documents were straightforward, which were borderline, which ones actually needed closer attention. So, what do? You have to effectively open every document, every single line, and read through the scan through the metadata and double check on the classifications in its entirety of the etmf, and not just selectively. So it sort of defeats the purpose, right? Now, this is where we have thought of a smarter way of doing this. So, in this particular scenario that I just spoke about, we brought in an entirely new perspective to how AI agents should work. So, according to Cloudbyz, it is not just about automating and simplifying the manual work, but also communicating the confidence of the work that has been done to the human, so that they can base their decisions in terms of ultimately whether it should trust the AI or they should intervene and complete and review the work by themselves. Yeah, so again, I would not go into too much of details in explaining this because I feel Archit, once he goes through the features, he will do better justice to this. So Archit, please, have it as part of your conversation, and I'm quite sure that the audience here will love to see this feature in action. Before I close the final use case, I would just say we put in a lot of energies into building this agent, and I sincerely hope you like it as much as we enjoyed being part of this building journey with Cloudbyz. Or there are the use cases that we had in store. Now, before we move to Archit, there is just one final slide I think we have that I would want to convey before we move along. Just to put things into perspective and looking at it maybe from a 10,000 feet view. So through this particular slide, we're trying to portray and convey as in why are the traditional eTMF models are not working anymore, or why can't they scale anymore? Because inherently the traditional ETM models are human centered, and effectively they are also limited by the human capacity of processing information at a particular speed, right? So as of now, you can see as per the traditional approach, humans are going to upload the documents, they would classify, perform the quality checks, and finally, in case of any errors, chase the gaps themselves. But then the problem really arises when the scale and the complexity of the study increases. The number of documents, they go into hundreds and thousands, and that is where the quality and the consistency takes a dip. The costs grow linearly as you are increasing and adding to your headcount to manage this additional work, and ultimately your compliance takes a hit, right? So that is where we are trying to kind of bridge all of this using an AI agent. And the solution that we have is going to assist and support the human along each step of the way, wherein the agent can, itself do the intelligent intake of the documents, identify and redact the PHI information, classify the documents, extract the metadata, put a confidence score to the work that is done, and ultimately show everything through real-time reports and dashboards, as well as notify the TMF managers for any sort of action that needs to be taken, and everything that an agent does is all covered and tracked through an audit trail as well. So what happens out of having an AI agent being built into this human approach is the speed becomes constant and effectively gets decoupled from volume, because right now you have an AI agent with seemingly endless capability of processing document volumes. The quality becomes standardized. The cost again decouples from the headcount, because as an agent it would kind of take care of massive volumes of data. And finally, the compliance that was initially at risk is now kind of ensured, because you have an agent who is taking care of all of your GCP guidelines and requirements as it has been coded to do, as well as you have the human in the loop governance available. So you can at any point of time come in and review the work that the agent has done and take a call how it should proceed forward from there. Okay, so that is what I had from a slides perspective. I would now, hand it over to Archit and, request him to take it forward with the demonstration of the product. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Archit Pathak. I'm the senior product manager over here at Cloudbyz. I'm extremely excited to showcase what our team has built in just a very short span of time. 2 months ago, in the beginning of this year, we launched the AI eTMF agent, embedded within our application. That was a sneak peek initially of the overall idea that we had, and now we have a full-fledged standalone application that can do the exact same thing in a much more dedicated environment, regardless what eTMF solution you're already using. And this is one of the most extreme pace we have seen from our engineering team overall, and I am extremely proud of what we have done. Having said that, I'm excited to share this brand new platform. Before I switch to the live product demonstration, I would like to just quickly touch upon what we are going to see today and what is available right out of the box as of today in this first release of this AI intake agent. So as of today, the couple of features that we are the list these are the features that are currently going to be available out of the box. First one being the smart document classification, which identifies documents based on certain TMF reference models, which is the DI reference model. As of now, the system comes inbuilt with 3.2.1 and the 3.3.1, which is the latest model right now. And as and when DI releases the next one, hopefully the next one coming up, version 4, as they are saying, is going to be a generic model. So we'll see how that turns out, and that can again be made available on the fly. Now, the benefit the system gives is basically AI is contextually aware of the entire TMF reference model and doesn't tries to generate information about based on its own reasoning, and every time it actually gives you a deterministic response on the classification. Next is auto-filled metadata, which is basically just extraction of the key fields that key metadata fields from the document, again using the AI. Patient data protection, which is basically our PHI maskings. All your data basically gets masked before it is sent to LLM. We'll just see that in action. Next is smart approvals and routing. AI can, based on the classification of the document and the overall confidence it has on the document, it can either mark the system as auto approved, or it can route it with varying steps of priority already defined. Sort of an escalation rule. So whoever is reviewing the documents will know what is most critical, what is the status of a particular process documents. And finally, a complete audit trail. So, without wasting any further time on this, let's quickly jump on to the live demonstration. Pooja, I'll just take over the screen. That's okay. Thank you. All right. So to begin with, this is your command center. This is the first thing you see every day, every morning. First of all, if you see a green card over here, this basically shows that your AI system is healthy and running. All the document processing engines or classification model, PII scanners, everything is currently running in full healthy state and is being monitored. Then you have recent document cards, AI accuracy of the overall org, your performance processing cards over here, which basically shows how many overall PI alerts have been raised, auto approvals have happened this week, and overall AI classification accuracy, processing performance, etc. Over here, you have a quick glimpse or a quick snapshot of all the items pending for your approval. Currently, if you see here, I have 3 documents that are waiting for my review. The system already knows what needs my attention and what doesn't. We'll come back to this later. Notice what's not here. There's no pile of unfiled documents, no spreadsheet tracker, no emails from reviewers or stakeholders requesting where is this document, or this document is not updated, stuff like that. The system takes care of that for you. Now, every document in this system belongs to a study. Let me show you how. We've kept the process very structured and streamlined so that you are not creating too many records or managing the system, spending any time on managing the system. It's a very straightforward quick starter. Over here at the studies tab, you will see a quick snapshot of all the studies that you currently have in the system. With a few high-level cards, total number of studies, how many are active, because you can actually go ahead and mark a particular study as inactive. Let's say you're done, you're doing a closeout, you can go ahead and mark it as inactive. It locks the study. Then, as part of the study creation, we have a new study over here. So very simple, just the study name, the protocol number, which are mandatory, and it helps the AI eventually to cross-reference. The phase of the study, sponsor, if any, therapeutic area, indication, and the most important field, the TMF reference. As of now, over here, you will see the 2 TMF reference models that are currently available out of the box. are version 3.2.1 and 3.3.1. These are the two most recent releases of the TMF reference version. As soon as more versions keep coming out, as the market buzz goes, the next upcoming reference model would be a major overhaul of the entire TMF reference. As you know, so it's going to be more structured moving forward, and I believe that's going to be version 4. So as and when new models come out, we will keep adding them, and this is exactly what helps our AI engine to classify the documents accurately and deterministically. Now let's upload a document, but hold on. So let me just go over here quickly and touch through this before uploading a document and actually showing you what's happening at the document level. When you come to the study, all the documents, as I mentioned earlier, are streamlined within the study itself. You have the list of all the documents, their statuses, who it was uploaded by, and when, and you have options to view the documents. On the top, you have a couple of very focused cards which showcase total number of documents and their and document counts by status, a high-level overview of the study, and option to upload a file. Now, let's go ahead and upload a document and see what happens. When I click on upload file, I have a couple of options. I can upload either a single file, a PDF I've received via email, or a site has just faxed in a document, I've scanned it and I want to upload it. Or maybe I want to upload multiple files, a bunch of files that are lying on my system, and I just want to start classifying them. Or even to the extent of uploading an entire zip file, and the system takes care of that. You don't have to unzip it and upload it one by one. Over here, let me just select let me select a DOA log from site 005. If you see on the bottom over here, the study is already tagged because I'm coming from the study. Other option is, if the study is not selected and you're directly going to upload document, you can choose a study over here and it will automatically pick up all the default metadata elements. Now let's go ahead and continue to process this. While this is processing, what I did not do was I did not classify the document. I did not pick a folder. I did not enter any type of metadata. I just uploaded and told it which study it belongs to. That's it. Now, while it is processing, it is performing 6 simultaneous things: extracting text, analyzing the document structure, overall the layout of the document, scanning for PHIs, classifying it against the TMF reference model, extracting metadata, and running an overall evolution. Now, what you see on your screen right now is basically what we call as our AI intake panel. This is the heart of the product. You'll be spending most of your time on this page reviewing the documents in case the document is not auto-reviewed. Now, in this particular use case, the AI has actually identified this as a site signature sheet with a reasoning giving document is a delegation of authority log showing staff members, which matches the artifact 5.2.18, which is a site level folder. Over here, it shows TMF level. Now, TMF level is also defined in TMF reference file, site level, trial level, or country region level. Depending on what that classified folder suggests as TMF level, it will show you an option over here. Along with that, it will show you an alternate classification, which basically for every primary classification, we have a failsafe where the AI also suggests alternate classification, which it feels is the next closest match to the document. And you have an option to go ahead and override the classification if you're not content with the primary classification. Then over here on top, you will see the AI confidence. This is calculated overall by AI based on the reasoning, the content of the document, and all the other parameters it evaluates the document against. Now, over here, we have the metadata. AI has extracted roughly around 12 metadata fields from this document, including investigator name, protocol number, study title, version. There are around 20 predefined metadata fields that come inbuilt within the system out of the box, and you still have an option to configure, add, or remove some of them. Every every one of these fields would normally be typed in by hand, copy pasted from the PDF, or manually entered by someone, which AI pretty flawlessly does over here. One thing to highlight: the AI is aware of where to pull the document name from. That is the dating convention, again defined in the TMF reference model. So it actually refers the dating convention in the TMF reference model and then tries to find that particular date in the document. Now, needless to say, the next most important aspect of this is the PII detection. During the flow of the document, the PII detection actually happens much before the document and the content is actually sent to AI. So this is the first thing that the system actually performs on the document, and you have an option to click on these elements and see where this particular tag is present in the document. Moving forward, we have a document audit trail over here, where you can see each and every step, every action, AI or human, logged with a timestamp and the actor and what happened. Document uploaded, OCR completed, classified, PII detected, etc. Everything mentioned over here. Along with this, if the document gets auto approved, in this case it is not, so you will even see it over here, as well as on its own dedicated tab called reviews, where once the document is submitted or approved or rejected, it will start showing up over here. This is what the inspectors love: full traceability from intake to filing, no gaps, no guessworks at all, everything clearly laid out in a structured format. Now, this was a high confidence document, but still no auto approval, because there is a system setting which controls this. Right now, it is every document has to meet this threshold in order for it to get auto approved. If it is not, the AI will automatically flag it for manual review. Now, over here under settings, you will see primarily two thresholds. One is the auto approve, which helps AI determine whether to auto approve the document or to send it for review. Next is the confidence review threshold, which basically takes care of whether to mark the document as a high priority review or a medium or a low priority review. So anything less than 90% will be automatically routed for a high priority review. And when you go back to review the document, you will actually have the option to review it manually and take a call based on why figure out why AI has not identified it or not marked it as auto approve. In this case, what I would do is I'll go ahead and submit this document for approval. Since I have to approve it, I'll just go ahead and approve it for myself, because we have something called as allow enable self approval marked as enabled in the system. So you can actually go ahead and submit the document to yourself for a review. Now, there's no shying about it, because the system will even log that the document was uploaded by you as well as reviewed by you. Let's see what happens. First of all, as soon as the documents goes for review, I get an option to recall the approval, just in case the person who was supposed to review the document is not available or for any other reason. I can recall it. That again gets logged. Or what I can do is I can go to approval queue, or even since I'm on the same page, I can refresh it. I'll see the option to reject and approve the document. Let's go ahead and approve this because this pretty much serves our purpose. Now that the document is approved, I intentionally did not provide any comments, but you can give your own comments over there as well. Over here, coming back to audit trail, you can actually see that the approval message was tagged, was clearly logged in. None of these approval or audit trail elements are allowed. Any modification is not enabled. Apologies for that. These are all immutable data logged into the system and available for all for data export and audit review purposes. Another thing, as being an AI system, the recent compliance guidelines mandate AI audit log as well. So here you can see the model that is being used, how many tokens have been utilized, and also you can see a high level payload, which is basically the raw input and output to and from the AI. Under review, if I come back here, now you can actually see who reviewed it, what time they reviewed it, and if there is any comments, it will show up over here. All right. Moving, one other thing which I would absolutely like to cover before we move forward is, let's say if I take this document, you will see an option to reclassify. Let's say if you're not satisfied with what AI has suggested, you can actually click on this and provide a feedback. So let's say if the document is not classified in the right category or a certain metadata element is not correct, you can actually go ahead and provide that information in plain text, hit reclassify, and the AI will go ahead and consider your feedback and reevaluate the document based on the feedback. It's just like interacting with an actual human CRA or whoever is managing your documents right now, asking them, hey, this metadata field is not complete, go ahead and fix it. So AI does that job for you. Now, all of this information gets logged within your platform and again stays within your platform, always within your servers. Uh, and AI eventually starts creating the pattern and starts identifying and rectifying those issues on its own. So it's like grooming a fresh new resource, and eventually seeing them get more and more acquire more and more experience and start giving better performance. That is one of the reasons why we have also kept the confidence threshold controllable, and it extends the control to you. So until and unless you absolutely have full confidence on the platform, you can keep the bar extremely high. All right, moving forward, since we have already covered the threshold, the big picture over here is something that I'm most fond of. Is usually when you have a document which you're working on and you identify a PII or a PHI information, what you actually have to do is you have to upload it to some other file, uh, some other redaction tool, and manage it. But in this use case, what you can do is you review all of this, modify any tag you see that is in the wrong place. With just one click of a button, the system will automatically redact everything. You can go ahead, download the PDF, and share it with someone, or just log it in your database. Apart from this, you have approval queues, as we already discussed. This is a quick glimpse of everything that is pending your approval or review. You can click on any document, go ahead and mark it as reject or approve, review it, make sure everything is accurate. Now, talking about the big picture, what we have is the insights and the analytics tab. This is high level overview of the entire system. Of course, as we need a dashboard to see how our system is performing. Here you get a high level picture of model accuracy, first pass yield, basically how many documents are getting auto approved in the get go, auto approval utilization, total number of AI calls made so far. And again, this is a benchmark which you can go and validate from the backend as part of the data export, and make sure that you get 75 AI call log audit trail events. Then your overall model accuracy, daily processing trend charts, classification distribution charts. The analytics dashboard goes deeper over here, pressing volume by study, confidence score, distribution, processing time breakdowns, queue health, everything that you need to see of the system, filtered ability to filter by studies, and overall getting a picture of where exactly is the current bottleneck. Now, talking about the inspection readiness that we have been talking for a long time now, if I go to the admin panel, since I'm an admin, I have access to admin panel. Depending on your roles and permissions, you may or may not have this permission. But as an admin, I will have access to audit trails. Every action in the system, as I mentioned, be it AI or human, is logged here. Document uploaded, classified, PII detected, approved, rejected, or even when a new user is created, modified, the log in, log out, all the information gets tracked over here. And this is where you can find it out. Now you have a couple of filters. You can filter it by setup or admin, document and study, filter it by event type in case you need to see a particular event happening. If there is any, you want to keep a track of how many document uploads have happened so far, you can validate it here. You can filter it by user actions within your platform, see who's doing what in the platform. Uh, study based filter, resource types, wherein options like document, study, user, role, whatever you can modify in the system is filterable. Now, if, let's say, in a particular use case, if an auditor asks you for a particular document specifically, let's say if I have a document which I want to specifically see all the history of that document, when it has happened, when it went into what status. All you need is this ID. You can come to the document, you get this ID, you go back to the audit trail and paste this ID. It will give you all the details of that document. There you go. Now this is everything that has happened with that document in particular. Multiple reclassifications, reprocessing, all of that. Rejected, reprocessed, approved, tracked in a sequence. You can export this as well as a CSV and share it if need be. Okay. When an inspector walks in and says, show me audit trail for document X, there you go. You pull it up in 5 seconds. Every AI action, human action, decision, everything timestamped and inspection ready. So this is what we wanted to highlight. It's not just about processing with AI, but also to make sure that we are fully compliant and in this regulated environment. All right. So moving back, let's go to where we started. As we set the stage, Thursday morning, 15 documents from 4 hours. All of this, completing all the 15 documents in 10 minutes or less. Again, depending on how many you have identified for review, what kind of errors they are. But best case scenarios, along with AI processing, review, approval, everything combined in less than 10 minutes. That is something that I believe is phenomenal with the new age technology that we have over here. And again, as we have been stressing so long, the idea is to reduce the effort on the redundant manual work and let the CRAs or the managers actually focus on what really matters: the completion, go live, and compliance, rather than sitting through, scratching your head through numerous thousands of documents throughout a large scale study. Imagine of study with 50,000 documents in a year. That's on an average, if you take 1 hour as well, that's 50,000 hours we are talking about. So that's what we are trying to minimize over here. No spreadsheets, no misfiling, all quality checked and stored along with audit tracking. All right. With that, that's the Cloudbyz AI eTMF agent. There's definitely a lot more that we have in the application. For example, user management. You have classification screens. Automated reprocessing of the document, where you can individually reprocess each element or refire the whole process all over again. We could cover all of that, but that would require a lot more time than what we have right now. Having said that, that's the Cloudbyz AI eTMF agent, AI that learns from you and not the other way around, and eventually grows into coming into a position where it can help you speed up your overall go-to-market. We are actively working on document intelligence, where the same AI can selectively reevaluate on its own. Do cross-reference evaluations, and a lot of other interesting updates that you will see in the coming quarters. One other major element is bringing in deeper integrations with other existing eTMF solutions, so that you don't have to migrate or move out of your eTMF systems. As of now, along with this platform, you also get the REST APIs, which can be used to configure direct integration with this application. So your documents can directly move into this queue from your holding area or wherever you store your documents. And then, along with the metadata and all the scores, push back the document to your source system. If you'd like a personalized walkthrough tailored to your specific workflows, we would love to chat with you. Feel free to drop your emails or reach out to us on info@cloudbyz.com. Look forward to speaking with you all. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Archit, for that impressive demo. Sure. I mean, I think we'll just stretch this time for 5 more minutes, but we have a bunch of questions coming in. So, team, let's get to it. So, we have a question from Amir. Is the AI agent available for existing eTMF products built on Salesforce? Dinesh, would you want to take this question?
Certainly. Yes, the AI agent comes with the APIs, REST APIs. You can pretty much integrate with any other platform, including Salesforce based eTMF or any other eTMF system which is available and can support APIs.
Awesome. And then we have a bunch of questions more. So what AI engine is being used? And then is the ingested data used to train the system for all of your customers, or is it kept private?
Yeah, so first question maybe Archit will answer with respect to the model itself. But second question, we are not using any customer data for this. We cannot use it. So this all the data testing which is being done based on our sample test data which we can internally created. It is not trained on any customer data as of today. So
Right, and as part of the second part of the question, what engine is being used, there are multiple. You can choose based on your comfort level what model you want to use. All the top models in the market are currently available. Apart from that, there are certain custom layers built on top of the agents which take care of the overall processing. And as Dinesh rightly mentioned, there is no training based on the data that you process within the application. The documents, you get your own dedicated environment. So you're not even sharing the space with any other customer using our application.
Thank you so much. Then we have, so this is a long question. So some documentations, especially logs used in writing, is this AI agent capable of processing those as well? And then I think Archit, based on your demo, based on the current example with the delegation log, he wanted to clarify the following, which was ensure that document meets first time quality standards. Can the system identify, if applicable, site personal documentation is on file for the members listed on the log and flag gaps?
Uh,
Yeah,
let's take them one by one.
yeah, there's like a big question. So it's just if you see in the on the chat.
Yeah, let's take it one by one. So first of all, yes, the system can identify a handwritten document, and I would have loved to show you, but I mean, you see, we are already over time with what we have. There is, I mean, it's not because just the sheer system has so many features that it is not right to justify the entire operation in a 20 to 30 minute slot. We would love to show everything else that is part of the system. Um, just drop us a note, or just feel free to reach out to us at info@cloudbyz.com, and we would love to showcase you a tailored demo. But to answer your question, long story short, yes, the system can identify handwritten text as well. If it is a picture converted into a PDF uploaded to the system, or if it is a scanned version, anything is fine. It will read it out. It will make sure that the signatures are present in the right space. If it is not, it will go ahead and highlight that as well. If it is a blank template, let's say you're testing out the system, we have done this multiple times. We have uploaded blank templates as well, and it was able to identify those as well, that this is not the right format, and this is just a blank template. Please upload a completed form. And
Thank you. Yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
No, go ahead, Pooja. I mean, the rest of the questions, maybe we can respond back if, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, so yeah, thank you so much, the team, for this amazing session, and thank you everyone who have stayed back with us till now. If you weren't able to take up all the questions, please feel free to drop us a email on info@cloudbyz.com, or you can always visit our website and reach out to us on Contact Us. Thank you so much once again for joining us today. And on behalf of the entire Cloudbyz team, thank you and have a productive day ahead. Thank you very much.